Damien Bartonek here on behalf of Fox West Texas and the official host of MMA Monday, the only MMA show in San Angelo. Today I'm joined with a fan favorite, someone that's been climbing up the ranks of all the fans' favorite fighters, Vanessa. I'm gonna say your name. I'm gonna say your last name. I've been practicing. Demopoulos. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. First off, like I said, you become a fan favorite. I just want to ask, what has that been like? What's that rise been like for you?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the compliment. Yeah, honestly, I just love that people have fallen in love with me, like just the real me. Like it's not a character that I'm playing. It's not like some sort of stitch that I made up. Like I'm just really wild and crazy and super animated all of the time. So it's really cool to be accepted and complimented.
Well, the cool thing too that I really respect about your journey is you've been through a lot to go up to this point, and I honestly think even though in your debut, you fought a very tough opponent, I still feel like it was poetic from an outsider's perspective, being that you've gone through so much, but you stepped in on short notice against a super tough fight and still took it. You know what I mean? Like, tell me, just whenever you look at when you look back to your debut in the UFC, is it at all a little poetic for you, even though you didn't get the outcome you wanted? Is it still at least poetic for you?
Yeah, it kind of is, and it's like I'm really cool with JJ now. It was against JJ Aldridge, up a weight class at 125, where she was fully getting ready to fight someone else, and then me stepping in on such short notice when I'm naturally a 115er. I would never fight at 125 again. But yeah, and it was really rough for me. Talking to JJ afterwards, her camp said that they were expecting her to finish me. So I'm
Mm.
like really proud of the fact that like we went all 3 rounds. It was a super freaking tough fight.
Yeah,
I got to show a lot of heart in that fight. But yeah, like you always want to win. You always want to
absolutely.
win. And I came back with that warrior spirit, just knowing that I could overcome adversity. And that's a part of the story, like that's something that I definitely want to share with the whole world is that you can always overcome adversity. Like it's never over unless you choose to quit. So don't quit,
Yeah,
like create
absolutely.
greatness from it. Like it's different if you don't quit and then you just kind of like not change anything.
Mm.
But you can make it happen if you just keep moving forward and continue to change and grow and evolve from
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely, and you've shown that to be true. I mean, I've looked into your upbringing and your background, all the way to this point, and it's been that story of perseverance, of never giving up, and essentially practicing what you're preaching right now. I do want to ask though about your Greek, and I read that Greek was your first language. Is that true?
Yes. So I was born in America and I
Yeah.
was raised in Greece. And
Uh-huh.
then I learned how to speak Greek. And then I came back here to the States and I remember like trying to communicate with my own mother and I
Hmm.
wasn't even like able to do that. I had to talk to my dad to talk to my mom for me.
Yeah.
And then I learned English, forgot Greek, and then we went back to Greece and I became bilingual.
That's so awesome. How difficult is it for you to like switch the transition from that? Like whenever you visit, let's say you go, I don't know how often you go to Greece, but whenever you do go over there, is it hard for you to transition back to English, or are you already in the flow of it now?
No, no, no. Like at this point I speak English. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and even like when I speak Greek, it's very Americanized Greek, like there's if you put me in the middle of Greece, like I can absolutely communicate, like I can
Yeah.
get by with everything, but you can tell, like I have that American accent to it.
Well, no. That the interesting thing, regardless of that, is you're one of the very few like Greek, to have that background, and I think that's so unique in itself. Not on top of your journey to this point, it's also that as well. Has that ever kind of hit you like, man? Not only have you been through a lot, but dude, you're like one of the few Greek fighters in the UFC that are making a name for themselves. Has that ever hit you?
Yeah, it has, and I freaking love it so much. It's just like I feel like there's not enough like Greek UFC fans the way that there
Mhm.
are like Irish UFC fans
Yeah.
or Mexican UFC fans. And I do represent my country so proudly, and I love that. And I'm really big on my heritage. But I wish that more people in Greece like really loved
Yeah.
UFC the way that they do over in like Ireland and Mexico.
Well, who knows? Once you get that belt, they might love this. Might love the sport even more, right? And I was going to ask you that as well. You mentioned like Ireland and stuff like that. Conor McGregor is on record saying that like MMA wasn't huge until he made it huge. Now, I know it's a lot for you to put on your shoulders saying, okay, I'm going to win the belt and now it's going to be Greek MMA. But I will ask you, after, since your debut, you're 4-1 in the UFC, and I know you do want to be a champion, right? Tell me, how do you feel like you're going along that path? Do you feel like you're kind of, the timing has been right, you're getting better and better with every fight? Kind of how are you progressing from fight to fight, do you feel?
I am continuing to evolve every single fight, and you see a different fighter every time I go in there. Like you see a different game plan against different people every time that I'm walking into that cage. So yeah, like I am continuously getting better. I'm continuously seeing things and growing. I look forward to continuing to climb the ranks, but I can't jump ahead. I know that one day I do want to be the champion. That is what I'm striving for. But first I got to hit the rankings, like I got to hit the top 15. So once I hit the top 15, then it'll be like, okay, top 10. Once you hit the top 10, it's like, all right, top 5, let's go for the belt. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the right approach to take, one fight at a time, one step, this is all a marathon at the end of the day, not a sprint.
But yes, I do want to be the champion. You got that right.
Well, yes. Absolutely. I would question, I'd be like, that's a unique perspective not to want to be the champion. I've interviewed some fighters though, that they do say that they don't really care for the belt, and more power to them. I respect that. But it always is unique to hear that, especially from your perspective.
I do want to know this though. After your last performance, very good performance. Like I said, you're 4-1 since your debut. Man, do you feel like you're ready for the rankings? Do you feel like, man, that top 15, maybe even a top 10 fight? Do you feel like that should be next for you?
Absolutely, yes. And I've talked to my manager about this.
Yeah. I don't know if your manager is. I don't know if Jason House is your manager. I had him on not too long ago.
Jason House.
Okay, Jason, and he's a good man. Now, I always tell Jason he likes to play with me. He'll give me a little, like some crumbs to be like, hey, just watch out for this, watch out for that. Now, I won't ask you directly, but can we expect to see you soon?
Yes, I do want to fight soon. Yes. I've talked to Jason. Mick is my matchmaker, and I've talked to Mick as well. Like I want to get rocking and rolling as soon as I can.
Now, just to tie this into Texas, I did see early in your career, you fought in Texas before. You fought in Dallas, you fought in Belton. Belton, that's a very weird place to fight, by the way. I've been to Belton before.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing in Belton. Yeah.
But there is a card coming up in Texas. Is there any chance we see you? Is there any chance in December we see you? Any chance? Any chance?
Probably not.
Probably not? Okay.
But maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. I just had to ask because we're
if anything, you'll see me there doing fight analytics. I do. I'm an analyst for Fight Pass. Yeah, pre and post shows.
Oh, so you're doing the whole thing. So not only are you a fighter, you do the analytics. You're on TV. You do everything. That is so crazy. That's awesome. Okay, so just a couple more for you before we wrap this up. Like I said, I know you're in the middle. I know you're training. You have a lot going on. But up to this point, not to say how proud are you of yourself, but more so whenever you have those reflections of kind of your journey to this point, what are those reflections like? If you could take me inside that.
That's such a loaded question.
Yeah.
Because I feel, and like I've reflected on this like kind of recently even. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm so far away from the person that I once was that even me talking about the person I came from, it's almost unrelatable. Like people don't believe the fact that I got kicked out of schools for fighting, and like I used to get arrested all the time, and just like I was just like the pinnacle of like someone who was never going to be anything. And it's like so crazy that was me, because it's like now I just want to nerd out and create greatness and just like be amazing. And I'm such a positive force now, but it wasn't always like that. And it's really hard for me to even picture myself being the person I used to be. And I'm just so grateful that The same way that I talked about like getting to a championship belt, how like you really do have to take things like one step at a time and kind of have those small footholds along the way. Like that's how I got myself out of those really crazy, terrible situations. And that's how I got away from the person I used to be. It was like one foothold at a time, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really fucking proud of who I am today. I'm extremely proud of who I am today. And the world will never be able to comprehend or understand that type of a journey. Maybe one day I'll write a book about it, but man,
Yeah.
it's been a hell of a journey. It really has been. And I'm so blessed today. I can't believe it. And
Yeah.
I haven't even done anything yet. I feel like I just
Absolutely, yeah, that's amazing to hear. And I was kind of having this conversation. I've had it before, where whenever you do have those moments of reflection, like sometimes, like the issue can always just be from within. It doesn't always have to be something outside. You can be not okay because you're not okay, right? Or I know true self-improvement does come from within, but you only can improve within once you kind of take information from other sources and really, truly kind of dissect what's going on. And I learned that through therapy personally myself. And I think that is something that, once you kind of realize that and understand that, all you want to do is kind of help others and really kind of throw that out there. But it's ultimately like you've learned, I've learned in my own space that, you can think this and believe this about others but you have to do it about yourself. And the only way you're going to improve is by doing it yourself. You know what I mean? And I think that's just been amazing throughout your journey. I've known all that, and I didn't want to bring that up. I figured I would ask you something, and if you wanted to share it, you could. But yes, I think it's so awesome to see how you've created that for yourself. And not only that too, man, you're kicking butt in MMA, doing your thing, jumping into Daniel Cormier and Joe Rogan's arms whenever you win. Like that's so awesome. My last one for you though, like I said, we've seen you before. We know where you are now, but in the future, let's look at 2024. You said maybe, and we'll see you in Texas, who knows? But in 2024, what's kind of your thought, your outline? What would be a successful year for you? I know we're taking it one fight at a time, but is there any sort of kind of end goal you want just for that year?
Going 3-0 in 2024, maybe fighting in January, fighting again sometime like March or like June, July, and then fighting again like closer to November. That would be ideal for me. Being able to just like kick ass, take some names, and be staring down the road of that belt coming up in 2025.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I'm going to definitely watch it. We're definitely going to be watching. And I'm just
now
very,
to say
very...
3 fights is so ambitious. I love
Yeah.
fighting. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting on the sidelines. Like, I want to be active, but not only just like being active for the sake of fighting. Like, I want to go out there and like make a statement and create greatness that I know I can achieve.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Well, we're definitely going to be looking forward to it. I appreciate you so much for coming on the show. If you have anything that you'd like to let the fans know, feel free. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to tell you guys that I love you all. You are valuable. So go out there and take what's yours.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll definitely be on the lookout for you. If you're in Austin for whatever reason, I'll be at that event covering it most likely. So I'll say what's up. If not, hey man, I hope you have a great 2024 and congrats on all your success up to this point.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys soon.